Welcome back, everyone, to That Amazon Ads podcast, where today we're doing a little bit of a shorter episode, and we are responding to a question that came through on our podcast, one of our episodes. I forget which one, but we'll throw up a screenshot of that question, and it says, what are your thoughts on going after those competitive holiday keywords like gifts for men and gifts for women? How much do you think we should bid? And what kind of budget? Thanks. And that came from Quister53. So thank you, Quister, for your inquisitive question. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So as always, you can drop comments for questions on the YouTube videos and we'll respond to those. You can also jump in the Discord and request topics. We'll be covering them off. So Andrew, if you could answer that question with 3 words or less, what would your answer be?
It depends. Boom.
It depends. 3 syllables or less. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So obviously, how much should you bid? We did a whole other question about, what should your starting bid be, as well as a lot of episodes on bid management and bid optimization. So search our channel for those topics. Just enter bid and you'll probably find it. All the videos we've covered off on that. And then what kind of budget? We haven't actually done an episode on budgets, I don't think.
I don't think we have either. No, not too much conversation around budgeting.
Yeah. So, okay, I'm going to give my 3 words or syllables answer. I would say, okay, I was going to say probably not is 4 syllables, 2 words. I would say probably not, but maybe sometimes. So it really just kind of depends on what your product is and if it makes a great gift product and what the data what the performance data is saying regarding those gift keywords. So Andrew, let's take a step back and let's just think about all of the accounts you're managing, and then I'll talk about all the accounts I'm managing. Do you even have any gift-related keywords in your campaigns, or do you see it coming up in your search term reports?
Good question. So most of the accounts that I manage, they sell either one consumable products, so like foods or supplements and that type of stuff, or it's apparel. And usually the brand that actually sees a pretty big uptick in Q4 and around holidays is the one that sells apparel. Those are a much more giftable item and things like that. But to answer your question, with that specific brand, I don't do a whole lot of specific gifting keyword targeting around holiday times, just because a lot of the keywords that are being searched for around the gifts are not really relevant directly to this apparel brand. They're like a niche apparel brand. But so yeah, I would say no in most of the accounts that I'm managing, just because they don't really. I've tested it before. I've one account I've been working with for 5 years, and we've tried it a couple different times, and usually performance is really bad. CPCs are really high, and we're not able to capture a whole lot of conversion. But we do see better performance, just within auto campaigns whenever we'll see gift keywords and stuff like that popping up there, and conversions looking a little bit better sometimes.
Interesting. It almost seems like you shouldn't be negating harvested terms out of those auto campaigns.
Well, if I had harvested
yeah.
Yeah, well, I said auto campaign. It's still in there. It's converting, so it's not negated.
Yeah, but you wouldn't harvest it because if you harvest it, you notice worse performance?
It depends. It depends. Highly depends.
Okay, well, if anyone didn't catch it, I was referencing our debate episode with should you negate harvested terms, and that was one of the talking points. So go back and watch that one as well. That was a great episode. It was a 2v2 debate with Mina and Carly joining in as well.
Steven loves gotcha moments. He loves to be like, gotcha.
That's what I live. That's what I live for, man. I live for
off
calling
the top,
people out.
In the off the top conversation, you're like, oh, you said that thing wrong. But that's okay. We won't hold it against you.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I'll share. So I work with a few brands. 2 of them in particular. Well, let's say I've got in total, I'm probably working pretty closely with like 5 or 7 brands. Half of them just don't make good gift products. If you're in nutrition supplements, those just aren't really going to be usually pretty good gift related keywords. They're just not going to get the conversion on it. And this comment does rightly point out, he says, what about those competitive holiday keywords? And that's very true. A lot of people like going after those gift related keywords. So those CPCs can get super high. And when we talk about, the funnel, there's a lot of different ways in which you can draw this funnel, this top of funnel, bottom of funnel. You can consider like DSP, like broadly speaking, as like a top of funnel tactic, and search as a bottom of funnel because people are searching with intent to buy. So you can do that. But then within just that bottom of funnel, just the search, you can have different classifications of keywords, kind of describing the intent behind those keywords. So typically, if you're selling tennis rackets for kids, and someone types in tennis rackets for kids, that's very specific. That would be super bottom of funnel compared to someone just typing in tennis rackets or like outdoor sports kids would maybe be middle of funnel. And then if someone just is typing gifts for kids or something like that, that could be considered a little bit more top of funnel, because when someone's typing in gifts, a lot of times it's a little bit more research oriented. They are searching for ideas, not necessarily, they don't have anything in mind yet for what they want to buy. So generally speaking, you will see lower conversion rates on those gift related keywords. And because everybody's going after them, especially in Q4, it can just be really competitive. So that's why I say, in a very general sense, you probably should not be making that a major part of your strategy. And unfortunately, a lot of times clients, that's always what they want to talk about. They're like, what are we doing to capture these keywords and stuff? And sometimes Andrew and I would just roll over, because it's, rather than debating the client, we just say, sure, we'll do it. And we put some in and we warn them. We're like, it's probably just not going to do that well, but we can try it out. But we've been doing this for a lot of years. So we know it doesn't work, especially if you're trying to run sponsored brand ads on those keywords. I mean, just the CPCs will be crazy. So I do have, though, 3 brands that make phenomenal gift products. 2 of these brands, for one of them, Father's Day is just the biggest event of the year for them. It outperforms any single day of Q4. It outperforms Black Friday, all those things. It's a massive moment for them. And the other brand, it also makes a phenomenal gift, but it's really good in Q4. Not so much Father's Day. It gets a little bit of a spike, but it's mostly Q4. Now, in Ad Labs, I'm not going to screen share this just because this is sensitive information, but it's pretty easy. I opened up all 3 of my accounts, and I looked at year-to-date performance for all of my search terms, and I applied the filters for gift. Search term contains gift or present or father or dad or husband to see what the performance was. And on one of these accounts, even though I said this one Father's Day, remarkable Q4, huge, just like sales go through the roof. It's every year, it's bigger than the year before. Year to date on those search terms, we have only spent $30 in spend on gift related keywords, with only $30 of sales, earning us a 97% ACOS on practically no spend for the past 9 months or so of data, with an average conversion rate of 2.6%, where this account typically averages a conversion rate of 25%. So that should be a pretty clear indicator where even if you have a very strong giftable product, that doesn't necessarily mean that those keywords are going to be very, very strong for you. So even though these gifts are huge, people are usually, they know what their dad wants, and so or their husband or whoever, and so they're actively searching for within this category, they're searching those category terms with the intent of buying that gift for that person, but they're not actually using that more research-based gift keyword. So do you think that made sense to everybody, Andrew?
Yeah, seems to make sense. And yeah.
Now, this other brand that I have that's also a very giftable item is pretty similar, in which, sometimes people will search within your category. So if you're selling, tennis equipment, people could search for tennis gifts, but the search volume is going to be really low. So it's just not going to be, the chances of you getting a bottom of funnel keyword containing the word gift is just very low. So it's going to be low traffic. When those gift terms do come through, they're going to be very upper funnel, very generic. Gifts for men, gifts for women, and they're going to be low converting and really expensive CPCs. So generally speaking, I would not include that.
Yeah. And to that point, when you do see an overall concentration of gift keywords start getting searched and stuff like that around Q4, but like you said, most of those people are just looking for ideas for things. Now, if you're going to Amazon to get a gift for somebody that you already know and you kind of already know what they like, are you going to search, like, let's say you sell, you're looking for a gift for a swimmer. And are you going to go in there and type gifts for swimmer? Or are you going to look at like swim goggles or like all the things, search all the things that are related to swimming in some capacity that you think your niece or nephew might actually like? What we tend to see is that we get a higher concentration of people searching for the generic keywords more than just like the gifts for insert niche or category. It's like they just search for the generic terms that everybody else is searching for, similarly to how they do it throughout the year. Could be Amazon search bar just kind of pushing them right there to it. But yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you one final example because I do have one other brand that is extremely giftable. However, the product itself is marketed as a gift. It's a pretty high AOV. In fact, what is the total AOV? Let's see, across the entire catalog, $70 AOV. Some of their products get up to $120, $150. But it is a gift basket, which is the product. And they have there's like a smaller size and then a large like jumbo gift basket. And so, these ones, there's a whole bunch of different things in it. They're gifts for different, some of them are like for post-operative, like surgeries, like these types of things, get well soon gifts, tea gift sets, all these things. And for this specific brand, there is a huge amount of volume for, slightly refined gift keywords that are a little bit closer to that category. So I'd probably put them in the middle of funnel. And we just started working with this brand a few months ago. So in total, in Ad Labs, I have 5 months of search term data. And if I look at just those 5 months on keywords containing gift or present, I didn't refine it to mom or anything like that or any categories just because we got a whole bunch of them. So just looking at all search terms containing gift or present, we have $8,000 of spend in the last 5 months, averaging a 5% conversion rate with a 50% ACOS, which is high. And that is, the target ACOS is 40%. So, the ACOS has come down since we've optimized it. It was around 30% for the last couple of months. So that's just to kind of give you a general idea. But actually, the average conversion rate across the entire catalog is only 2% because they're higher AOV products. So in total, for this whole entire account for the past 5 months, they're averaging a 35% ACOS with a 2% conversion rate and $113 AOV. So hopefully you can remember those stats. And then I'm going to put in gift and present again. And the average CPC there is 66 cents. And when I filter down to just the gifts, those CPCs jump to $2. So it's a $2 CPC. So quite a bit higher, but it does get a higher conversion rate, surprisingly, 5%. Now, like I said, a lot of these keywords in this category specifically are a little bit more bottom of funnel or middle of funnel. They're not super just research-based. So it's people are looking for gift baskets and those types of things, which is exactly what the product is. So this might be a little bit of an exception to the rule, but it does constitute a large amount of volume for this brand. And the most important thing I can say to someone, if you do have a product that does particularly well with these gift-related keywords, or you're in a category that has a lot of that more refined gift-type queries, then the biggest piece of advice I can give you is create a separate campaign for those gift keywords, because the behavior on those types of keywords compared to your, regular other just non-brand, non-super specific, or your more bottom-of-funnel keywords, I should say, the difference in performance, as you can see here, is pretty huge. Just the difference in those CPCs, the difference in that conversion rate. It's a very big change for terms that contain those gift-related keywords compared to those that do not contain. In fact, if I look specifically at does not contain those search terms, it's a 1% conversion rate. So 1% conversion rate on items that don't contain gift, 5% conversion rate on those that do contain gift, and all of it together for this whole account is averaging a 2% conversion rate. So for this one, we absolutely put those in a separate campaign so that we can control the placement settings on those, control the budgets on those a little more accurately. And then another huge thing for us is if you ever have a keyword that doesn't have any volume on it yet and you're bidding like $2, $3, it's not getting any clicks, we cross-reference the campaign's overall performance data to further inform and instruct what we should do with those bids. So that's kind of how we solve the low data keyword problem, is by cross-referencing the campaign's overall performance. So if that campaign is aggregating all those gift-related keywords, you have a very accurate performance benchmark to reference that would be a lot more accurate, rather than potentially punishing a really good keyword, a potentially really good keyword, just because it's in a campaign with a bunch of underperforming search terms and keywords. So hopefully that made sense.
Yep, makes sense. Sounds like it depends. And, in certain scenarios, you should rely on the data to decide whether or not you should be targeting gift-related keywords. Obviously, in that scenario, if your conversion rate's 5 times higher on the gift keywords, it probably makes a little bit more sense to start allocating a little bit of budget there, especially if it starts ramping up and you see it ramping up in the holiday times. So, yeah.
So the bottom line, the summary of all this is put your gift keywords in a separate campaign, negate those keywords from all other campaigns just to really control and funnel that traffic to the right place, and then test it out and see how it does. And, it's not a bad idea to, even if you only, if because you're optimizing the bids and because the conversion rates are so low, you end up getting relatively low bids and you're not driving a ton of traffic. You're only driving, maybe it only moves the needle on like 2 or 3% additional sales growth for you. Hey, that's 2 to 3% additional sales growth. That contributes to getting more reviews, your overall BSR. So it's certainly, worth testing out, but I don't think it's going to be for the average person. It's not going to be a massive game changer. And yeah, just leave it at that.
All right, cool. Well, thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of That Amazon Ads Podcast. We'll see you next week. Make sure you like and subscribe and come back and see us again.
Peace out.